Refined Savage Podcast, Viking Coffee, VikingCoffeeCo.com, VikingCoffeeCo.com, Evan Armstrong's brand, Viking Coffee. He is brewing up the best coffee around. You guys are going to buy coffee anyhow. You're all caffeine addicts. You might as well get good stuff. You know, don't be going out to Starbucks and getting that burnt shit. Give Evan Armstrong a holler at VikingCoffeeCo.com and get some of that old man strength coffee. It's the best stuff around. I taste tested that thing for weeks before we locked in what kind of flavor we were going to have. So check them out. He has also a bunch of other different kind of flavors out there. He is doing it. He is a true artist. Check him out. VikingCoffeeCo.com. Use the code VikingCoffee10 for 10% off at checkout. Let's talk about strength. You guys were just down at Nationals. When was that? 2 weeks ago, down in Columbus with the USS Nationals, where 700 people out of 800 strongmen in the nation qualified for Nationals. And Cerberus Strength was down there, and many of the top guys were wearing Cerberus stuff. So Cerberus puts out everything from straps and wraps to sleeves and belts and everything else. Anything you need for your strength journey, Cerberus has it, and they're great people. Give them a shout. Cerberus-strength.us and use the code RefinedSavage10 for 10% off. Great for you Highland Games athletes out there too. If you need knee sleeves, these are the guys. Warrior CBD. So CBD is the new thing. Everybody has their own brands out there, and everybody's promoting it. I am a huge fan. I've tried a few different brands. Warrior is by far my favorite, and the coolest thing is they have CBD oil for your dog. So I know a lot of you out there have these crazy ass dogs who freak out during thunderstorms and stuff like that. Get them some of their own CBD oil. It's better than the drugs that knock them out. You know, you don't want a dog that's all hopped up on whatever the hell the vet gives them. Little CBD oil calms them down. It'll do them right. And for you guys, muscle aches and injuries, you get that CBD roll-on, works really well. And I use the CBD oil under my tongue every night before bed. Fantastic stuff. I highly recommend it. WarriorCBDofficial.com and use the code WARRIOR20 off at checkout. Serious Steel. Serious Steel has everything you need to outfit whatever you're trying to outfit, whether it's a high school gym, a home gym, a commercial gym. You got one of these CrossFit boxes. Serious Steel is the place to go. They're good people. They know strength. They're actual strength athletes working hard for you. So if you need dumbbells or kettlebells or plates or bars, you know what they have? They have some of the best jump stretch bands around. They're not actually called jump stretch bands. I think that's like a business term for them. But, you know, like the stretch bands you use on your bar and stuff and for stretching. Check them out. They have the best bands around, and they're cheaper than everybody else. So check them out. SeriousSteel.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Stay Classy Meats. I could not be happier about my new partnership with Stay Classy Meats. They are sending me meat as a sponsor deal, which works for me. So Stay Classy Meats, you go to their website, you pick out which box you want. They have a variety of different meat in there. All the meat is raised in Montana. They aren't shipping it in from some other state and then shipping it to you. They know where these animals are. They know how they're raised. They know how they're cared for. They know what goes into their bellies in turn, which goes into your belly. So no hormones, humanely treated and humanely processed, shipped to you fresh within days, and the stuff is out of this world. I was trying the bison burger the other night. It was incredible. Pork sausages they sent me were out of this world. You know, cooked them up on the grill, threw a little kraut with them, and they were just the best, man. I can't say enough about Stay Classy Meats. Good people doing good work and getting you the meat you need and want in humane and civilized ways. Check them out at stayclassymeats.com and use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Finally, our last sponsor today, Midwest Best Grooming. My boy Fred Lozano's grooming company right here in Lorain, Ohio, right where Blind Dog Jim is here in Lorain. Midwest Best Grooming. They have beard balms. They have beard oils. They have hand lotions and lip balms. For you ladies out there who like this stuff, or even for you guys who need lip balms and hand lotions. I don't know what the hell you're using your hand lotion for, but that's not my business. Just get some. If you're going to use hand lotion, check them out. Check out Midwest Best Grooming. Use the code SAVAGE20 for 20% off on your order. It's mwbgroomingcompany.com. Today's show is with Andrew Durniat of Durniat Strength in Worcester, Ohio. Andrew is a former high-level strength athlete turned maniac, fitness enthusiast, adventure racer, 100-mile crazy David Goggins shit. He is an absolute animal. This podcast was fantastic. I learned a ton from him. He really inspired me, and I hope he will inspire you too. You got to check this one out. I was psyched to have him in studio, and it ended up being a fantastic conversation. So check that out. Go check out our sponsors, and we will see you at the end.
Exactly.
Andrew Durniat, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. No, it's awesome to be back.
Second time on the show, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. What have you been up to? I've been watching your craziness. I watched your workout yesterday. Well, I don't know if it was yesterday. You posted maybe a day or so ago doing those. What were those crazy looking kettlebell things you had?
They're called Chinese padlocks.
Okay.
And I had another guy ask me, why is it called a padlock? And I was like, well, whoever came up with it decided to name it that. So
right.
That's what we know. They're cut out of granite.
That's
so
what
they're
it
granite
looked like,
stone.
yeah.
So they're, if you watch on the Instagram, they're done in the bottoms up position is what it's sort of known as, because the edges are sharp, and so if it was to flop back on your wrist like you would with a kettlebell, it's not going to feel very good. So they're very much held in that bottoms up, or even in that same position horizontally. So I mean, there's a lot of wrist and grip strength that goes in with using the padlocks.
Where did you come up? Did you come up with those?
I came across them at an old time, the Black Swamp Old Time Strongman picnic.
Okay.
Roger LaPointe and Atomic Athletic used to
yeah.
hold it. Oh man, this has got to be almost 15 years ago. He used to hold these picnics in Bowling Green, Ohio. And so at one of his events, they had a bunch of padlocks out there, and so we were just doing all kinds of, he had some I think up to 130 pounds.
Wow.
Just crazy, and the handle's fairly thick on them. And so we were playing around. I was like, these things are kind of cool. And so kind of for payment for doing a performance there, which I juggled kettlebells and some barbells and did some other odd, stupid human tricks. He allowed me to go home with a pair, and a lot of times, they just sort of sit in the corner, and people use them as like parallettes for like gymnastics movements, because they're elevated and they are very stable on the ground. They're both about 51, 52 pounds a piece.
Right.
Not too precise, since they are just cut out of natural stone. And so I was just kind of messing around, and my training, I mean, if you've seen any of the posts that I do.
I've been watching a lot of it.
It true. No rhyme or reason, just I'm out just having fun.
See, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because since our last conversation, my training has completely changed.
Yes.
And a lot of it was I got into jiu-jitsu, but I started thinking to myself, look, what am I hanging on to this hope of deadlifting 700 pounds again? I'm 45 years old.
Exactly.
And it's tearing me up. And the thing of it is I was starting to really enjoy watching the other guys in my gym start to climb the ladder, and I wasn't looking at him anymore like I have to beat that motherfucker. It was kind of like, oh, look at cool Hammy's deadlifting 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I started, I'm going to try to lose some weight. And then I started really getting into it and starting to, I still do, just like you do, I still do strength stuff. I do a lot of strength stuff, but I do it within these parameters where I'm going to also get my heart rate up. I'm also going to have fun doing it.
Yep.
And I'm not going to have a planned out program for the next 6 weeks where I have to look at it and go, oh shit, I got to squat next Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. You're going through that same process that myself, and even this past weekend down at Sore Neck Summer Strong, talking to, other friends of ours, Matt Vincent, and even talking to Jason Lawson and Tex Henderson and just other guys that spent 15 years of life competing against and with, and we're all now 40 and above.
Yeah.
And we're all going, you know how strong I am? I'm strong enough that I don't have to get in this pissing contest anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I can just be happy. And I mean, when I look at it, it's like, all right, I'm 40. I started consciously training probably when I was 7 or 8 for sports. At the time it was playing ice hockey, and I wanted to be a better hockey player. So I started rollerblading, putting 5-pound ankle weights on my skates, and trying to be better. And like, I've got to go out and practice my slap shot, and I got to practice this. And then you get into team sports. You do that all the way through high school. And then I went to college and played college lacrosse and had a successful career there. Then I went on, coached 4 years of college lacrosse at the College of Worcester. That's where I got into the individualized strength sports. That was back 2001, and I've been a competitive strength athlete from 2001 really up until about 3 years ago. So for essentially 33 years of life, I've been chasing numbers and performance.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got to a point where I was like, this is exhausting.
Yeah.
And getting older and maturing with it and coming to grips with, I'm not 25 anymore.
Yeah.
This shit can hurt.
Yeah.
And believe me, I had a lot of fun chasing numbers.
Yeah.
Going after it, would not change it for the world. It's not, this isn't me looking back going, I should have done this differently.
Right.
I should have, not at all. No, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Well, and it gave you street cred too now.
Yes. So it very much, when you break records and you highlighting as you throw far, and people know who you are because of the competitions.
Yeah.
And so it did. It was a necessary evil in the profession that we are to distinguish yourself from the next guy.
Yeah.
But now having that and going, well, what else do I enjoy doing? I'm a big outdoors person. Love hiking, backpacking, rock climbing, skiing, all those things. And my brother, let's say this would be now 5 years ago, did his first Ironman triathlon in Louisville, Kentucky, and finished it. Still to this day, probably the most impressive thing. I was just watching my brother literally survive for 15 plus hours. And there were times where never told him he looked like shit, but he was as gray as your wall is in here. I just looked at him and went, oh shit. He's I don't know if he's going to finish this. I'm just in awe that he's even standing and moving.
Right.
And so just kind of coach him through hey, try to get some soup, get some fluids in you, just keep moving, don't stop. And then I'm looking around, I see other people laying in the grass, and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at them and I'm going, they look better than he does.
Yeah.
He's standing. I don't know how. And he, crosses the finish line, and I'm still just in absolute awe of what I just witnessed.
Right.
I'm exhausted from watching him swim 2.4 miles, bike 112, and then finish with a full marathon of 26.2 miles. Back to back to back.
Craziness.
With really no rest.
Yeah.
And I'm just this is insane. And tell him, I was you ever do this again, I will fly anywhere in the world to watch and just cheer you on.
Sure, yeah.
Through this. And so it was just this. And I'm I've seen strength sports. I've seen guys lift thousands of pounds.
Right.
I was but this is just beyond my comprehension right now. And so I was very intrigued by that. The following year he did a half Ironman, then he went back and signed up for the Boulder full Ironman and flew out again, watched it, and was just, and my dad was there as well, and we're shopping in between. He's on the bike for 7 hours, so my dad are cruising around downtown Boulder, shopping. My dad's buying shoes, it's and we're we're sitting in the restaurant, it's 90 degrees out, we're dying, and we're not doing anything,
right?
Just hanging out. And so he finishes that one, and just way better than he did his first. He's just crushing the course. And and like took like 2 hours off his time from before.
Wow.
And finished in the daylight and was just like, all right, what are we doing next?
Yeah.
And he kind of looked at me. He's like, all right. He's like, I was like, yeah, so you're going to do this again? He's like, yeah. He's like, but I want you to do it with me. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was at that sort of inflection point of, it was coming off one of my best performances at the Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, all right, you know, I'm interested in exploring other avenues.
Right.
But didn't have a direction yet. And so my brother just kind of gave me that nudge that said, hey, I want to tackle this. And I was like, well, this is going to take some work. And I still remember the first training run I took, thinking with Ironman in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And, you know, I put a heart rate monitor on and a watch. You know, I had driven to what essentially was a stop sign and back out by the gym. It was 0.8 miles out and 0.8 back. I mean, we're talking about a 1.6 mile run. And I was a all-American college lacrosse player, like running 5Ks. We did that before practice a lot of time. You know, we had a timed 2 mile test. So I had ran in the past, but there was about a 15-year gap of time.
Yeah.
I didn't do any running.
Right.
And my brain remembers, oh, this is easy. You just go out and you run. You do this. But unfortunately, my internal workings had forgotten over 10 to 15 years' time. And I remember coming back, my pace was like an 11:35 pace, and my heart rate averaged like 178.
So you were deep, man. You had
I was in the red, and I was like, oh crap. And I felt like, oh, that's the hardest run I've ever done. And oh my Lord, was that slow.
Yeah.
And like, I've got some work to do. So, you know, really dove into the research of how do you build cardiovascular long-term fitness.
And probably running techniques.
Yeah, well, and it was the running for myself, and still to this day, running is a cardiovascular activity, but more so, and I believe, and even talking to more people, running is building up your connective tissue to be able to handle more runs.
Yes.
It is death by 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
It is running is building up durability in the feet, the ankles, shins, knees, hips, IT bands. You know, that running conditions you for running.
Right.
To build the cardiovascular system, I was using multiple other modalities. I was using the rowing machine quite a bit to help build my cardiovascular capacity,
and
because there was no pounding. So I could work on my aerobic capacity while minimizing how much impact I was putting on my body, because it was, I mean, we're talking, you know, I could handle maybe 5 miles a week at first without injuring myself, and that was the big key. And you talk to runners. Runners are either great runners or they're injured.
Yeah, you're right.
That is your runner MO.
They're shitty runners who are
injured. Or they're shitty runners that are injured all the time.
Anyhow,
they don't know how to do anything else but run. It is the one demographic that is just hard to convince them that they can do something else and still be good at running.
Yeah.
But knowing that, I also didn't want to fall into that trap of going, okay, there's other things I can do to improve my fitness. And looking at it from a triathlon standpoint, I had 3 sports to learn. Mm-hmm. Swimming, biking, and running. We grew up as kids biking a lot. So I've always been on my bike, you know, rode bikes all through high school. My best friend, Jim, I mean, at his wedding, there were photos of us like in grade school riding bikes, and then all the way through junior high, high school, college, and literally the week before his wedding, there's us on our bikes, mountain biking.
Right,
so it's like, you know, we'd always that's one of the things we always did together and continue to do together. So biking was a more natural, like, okay, you know, I got to get a road bike, not a mountain bike. So that was a change to go and do it. But the swimming was, I mean, jump in the water.
Swimming is so much more difficult than people think.
Oh, man.
2 mile swim, that doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, until you're out there.
I had to do a test when I first got out of college. I was going down to Florida, and I was going to take the Florida Department. Well, I did. I took the Florida Department of Law Enforcement test, and I had to do a 400-meter swim.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I've been swimming my whole life. This is no big deal. That first time I jumped in the pool, though,
whole new ball game.
Wow,
Yeah.
400 meters is not a short distance as it sounds.
Yeah, and it's you know, I mean, swimming the length of the pool, you know, I'd be swimming down and back and hold on to the wall, like having to catch my breath for like a minute and just being like, holy crap.
Have you seen Laird Hamilton stuff that he's doing in the pool?
With some of his like breath holding and then it's like I forget the name that he puts.
XPT
or
XPC.
So, yeah,
it was just on Rogan the other day.
Yeah, I've seen some of his and he's got some clips on YouTube of stuff that he's doing. He's sort of doing a lot of that deep breath hold, carrying weights underwater, and really stressing not only truly anaerobic capacity underwater, because there is no oxygen other than what you can hold, but then also sort of stress inoculation. There's some guys that have done some studies. I think it was Rob Shaw and the Mountain Tactical guys have looked at ways of trying to increase mental toughness. He trains a lot of mountain guides and military guys, and so they were using water confidence testing and applications in the pool, and basically rather as controlled as environment as possible, but using that to build stress and seeing if that would actually carry over to stress in the mountains with the weather, altitude, exposure, and then also using and looking at how the military has used stress inoculation to create calmness in situations that most of us would, go batshit crazy and freak out.
Yeah, I saw some of his training, and I told the wife, we've got a pool at the condo. I said, man, I'm gonna go out and get me like a plastic covered kettlebell and just take it to the bottom and just play with it and see what happens. Yeah.
And it is, even with just some of the swimming and doing, as simple as doing like breath holds and trying to I'm going to swim to the other side of the pool, but I'm not going to take a breath.
And I'm working on, so I've had my nose broken a bunch of times, which is the reason why I sound like an ogre on these damn podcasts, but I'm really working on nose breathing a lot, and I've seen like guys cover not the stupid masks or anything, but just as a reminder, they put a bandana over their mouth just to I should be breathing out of my nose, you know, and that seems to be it gives me a way to concentrate on my breathing while I'm doing it instead of just breathing through my mouth.
It is that in practice, even with strength training. You have to have a conscious thought, and so you need to have a cue to consciously remind yourself, hey, breathe through your nose. So whether it's a bandana over the mouth or putting a mouthpiece in that's going to restrict airflow in one area to get you to consciously think of breathing in another. I actually had a conversation with a client of mine that I've taught him kettlebell sport, but he's also now gotten into jiu-jitsu. And we talk about all the time, he trains with some guys that were former wrestlers at Ohio State, and he's like, these guys they make it look so easy. Yeah. I'm like, yes, they've trained from a younger age all the way through adulthood into their 40s now in wrestling and grappling. So they have learned how to stay relaxed under stress. Yeah. I was like, but he laughs. He's like, I'll bring Tim in and get him doing kettlebells. He's like, he's way stronger than me, but he's dying in like 2 minutes. Yeah. And I'm like, we've taught Jeff how to remain calm with a bell. So he's doing the correct amount of work at the right amount of time, and he makes it look easy. He's like, how do I learn that? I was like, it's just like a foreign language. The more more different ways you can learn how to be relaxed under tension, you can pick it up quicker. At least he understands the language of, when I'm in guard and somebody's just trying, how do I stay tense where I need to stay tense, loose where I need to stay loose so I can be mobile? Because you can't just tense everything and be immobile. Right. But then you also have to be able to breathe so that you can be fully clinched in, quote, catch your breath, and then explode and burst on somebody when the opportunity presents itself. It's a technique, but it's one that it's the same thing when you're trying to get under a heavy squat, how much
Yeah.
tension, how much breath can I take at what times. It's the same thing in the pool, whether I'm breathing and relaxed in what I'm doing, or under strongman kettlebells, you name it. There's a multitude of ways to do all those techniques do come together
Right.
without getting away. And so that's where it's like learning from, you can take pieces from all of them and then put it into the focus that you want. And I think you're going to come out ahead over somebody that's, just trying to do that one trade all the damn time.
Yeah, I remember my first night in jiu-jitsu class, I was rolling with the black belt, and he was weathering the storm. So he was just fucking with me, and he was about probably 40 pounds lighter than me. So he was just letting me push him back and get in the guard, and he got on top of me, and after a couple minutes, he just said, breathe.
Yeah.
And I took a big breath, and I was like, oh, I know how to do this, and that was... Ever since that, anytime I've gotten into a bad position, I got into an uncomfortable position, because a lot of the times you spend in just uncomfortable positions that you're not going to tap from, but the layman on the street might tap from it just because you are super uncomfortable and there's pain and you can't breathe very well, but you just take that huge big belly breath and everything slows down for a second and you get that burst of energy.
And that's just it, because our natural reaction to a lot of stress is to clench and tighten things up. And that is the body's natural reaction, even to injury. A Charlie horse is your body's constricting on itself involuntarily to protect. Usually, Charlie horse comes from an impact, and it's protecting that injured area.
Yeah.
And so, massage therapy, breathing, yoga, there's meditation, all those different restorative modalities are relax you. And so if you can learn to relax under that tension and that stress, now you're ultimately effective.
Yeah.
It's like the journalist that hops in the Blackhawks going to battle with soldiers, and the journalist is like freaking out, and he's looking around at all these soldiers, and they're like sleeping.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you guys not know what you're going to do? Yeah, I got to get my sleep now because shit's going to go down out there.
Yeah, they used to say Chuck Liddell would sleep on the couch in the back before his fights.
Just sleep, complete relaxation, and that gets to the heightened level of professionalism. And I think that sometimes can be the misnomer when there's things that look great on Instagram, which is raging out, and everybody wants that like raw emotion and stuff, and when you really get to the top echelon in almost any sport, there's time for rage, but most of the time those dudes are pretty chill.
Punching the clock.
Just like, when I need to turn it on, I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
But
and that's
we're sitting here in the office. I don't need to be screaming and shouting to get my point across.
That's one of my things that you see on Instagram is these young lifters, and they're getting jacked up and using smelling salts before training lifts.
Yeah.
What are you going to have when you actually get to a meet?
Exactly.
You've wasted all that. All that is desensitized.
Exactly. You've trained yourself to where you've got to take it to a level that is just insane to get you fired up, because you wake up in the morning and you're freaking
C4
jacked up.
Yeah, so
you're just like you're like 10 rock stars, and it's like, man, I just can't sleep at night. Well, fuck, I wonder why. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have C4. We didn't have real pre-workout drinks when I was a kid. I remember when ephedrine first came out, and it was like, what is this shit?
Ultimate
and it was
Orange?
like, it was legal for like a week and a half.
It was like, dude, stock up on that stuff, because dude, you take that stuff and you could go run a freaking marathon, squat 400, pull 5.
I
got
like sketchy, shaky one time.
Just sitting here going, dude, I just got done working out and I'm still jittery as fuck. Like, this is crazy. And then, guys were like, again, desensitized to that. So if a little's good, more is better.
Yep.
Let's crank it up. And then guys started, dying in 90-degree heat because they were jacked out of their gourds. And
I started taking the mini thins. You'd have the mini thins in the gas station, And they're, they're so little. They're like an allergy pill. I should probably take 3 of these,
Exactly. Yeah.
Just jittery
Yeah,
as
yeah,
hell.
yeah. You'd have some stuff was going on. But,
Yeah.
you know.
We survived it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see a lot of stuff on, especially on Instagram, and you want to reach out. And the thing of it is you're reaching out to a 25-year-old kid who's got an 800-pound deadlift, and you just want to say, hey, look, you're not going to be around this sport in 10 years. So it depends on what you want. Do you want to be around the sport in 10 years, or do you want to deadlift 800 pounds every week for the next 6 months and then hurt yourself?
Yeah. Well, you see it all the time. It's like we talk to the gym. Hey, whatever happened to so and so?
Yeah.
You know, where's that kid? What's this kid doing now? He came out of nowhere and just disappeared, because there's always going to be the next guy that's coming along.
Right.
That's going to do it. So, do you want your 5 minutes of fame, or are you putting yourself in for some longevity? And I mean, even my workouts now, I'm having fun. But a lot of times, I'm choosing, like, you're seeing a snippet of what I'm doing because it looks cool on Instagram and it'll get me some freaking likes.
Right. Yep.
And I tell some of my fathers that come in that I'm training their kids, like, oh, he needs to be doing that. I'm like, to be just brutally honest, I'm putting that shit out there just because it looks cool on Instagram.
And you're having fun.
And I'm having fun.
And you've already put the base in of all the years of
squatting and deadlifting. I was like, I was like, dude, I can't round my back on purpose to show somebody what a round back looks like. It just doesn't do that. It's been locked in fixation for so damn long. It just does certain things. And so when I go out and I'll like post some of these things, like sometimes, it's me marketing me, because it's what I got to do running a gym is I got to put dumb shit online so people will like it. You know, rarely do you see me like, oh yeah, I ran 5 miles again today, and then I ran 5 miles again.
Or I'm sitting in the back doing neck work.
Or it's like, I'm stretching for 45 minutes on this day. Like, that doesn't do a whole lot. Or, it's like, oh yeah, you're squatting a bar again. There's plates. Cool. Yeah. A deadlift. Like, dude, if you've seen one deadlift video, you've seen them all. Yeah. Sorry, they're all the same. Same thing with squats. Same thing with a bench. You overhead press some padlocks, and all of a sudden people are losing their shit. I'm like, dude, it's 100 pounds combined. Like, you could put 225 on a bar with plates, and I guarantee nobody bats an eye.
Right.
Way harder than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I got dumb shit in my hands.
Right.
So, hey, who's
when you get parents in, and I'm guessing I know the answer to this because I get the same parents in, but so we have one of these multi-million-dollar sports facilities down the road from us, and it's funny because we have a kid here who I trained in high school, and then he went on to Judd's program at Ashland, and I have him work with all the throwers, including my son. So I'm like, I'm not going to be the dad who works with his son. I go to a meet, he needs technique help, I'm there. But let Zach work with him the whole time. So all of a sudden, the multi-million-dollar sports facility reaches out to him. Hey, do you want to have lunch? Yeah. And he comes and tells me, and I'm like, yeah, go have lunch with them. See what they have to say. And I said, you can tell them whatever you want. It's all out there. We're not hiding anything. Yeah. He goes and has lunch with him, but they're trying to pick his brain for how to train throwers, because they've got this state caliber thrower there that they have no idea how to train.
What to do with,
So they pick his brain. They don't listen to a thing he says. And they've got this kid training twice a day, 6 days a week. Yep. Well, he's throwing 2 feet under what he threw last year as a junior.
Because more is better.
Right.
If you want to be the best, you got to train hard.
Yep.
And that gets into that whole just like hardcore, like there is no easy days. Yep. I give 110% all the time, raged out. And it's like, dude, some of the best workouts I can have athletes do is they walk in, yeah, you look wasted. There's a foam roller and a stretching mat. 45 minutes.
Sure,
there you go.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, I need to work. It's like, no, you're here. Your dad's going to pick you up, and you're going to walk out, and all you're doing is stretching and rolling.
But that's good, because guys like us, and you get guys that are like high-level wrestlers who have this mentality where it's got to be go, 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 go. Yeah. And I'm like that. And it would have been nice for someone when I was younger to go, no, chill out. Don't do that today.
Oh, my biggest thing that I always ask is like, okay, come to the gym. How many days a week you want to come in? I need 3-4 days a week. What else are you doing? Well, I've got this. Okay, then we're going to come to the gym twice a week because you're in season for 2 different sports right now.
Right. Yeah, that's a new thing too, right?
Yeah. And so I go, yeah. Can you come in here all these days and I can beat the crap out of you?
Yep.
Not going to make you any better.
Right.
Going to make you tired. Going to make you injured. Going to set you up for an injury. So when you do go to your game after being here for an hour, you're even more susceptible to an injury.
Yep.
That's like, no, yeah, sure. I could probably make a lot more money just taking people's money and saying, oh man, I'm going to make you greatest. We're going to do all this like high, caliber, like looks cool exercises. It still comes back to the basics.
Yeah.
Like you said, you set the foundation. You got to learn how to squat, got to learn how to deadlift, got to learn how to bench, overhead press.
Yeah, that
and
kid
we're going
would
to do
have
some
been...
back exercises, and then eventually we're going to get into doing some cleans based on where you're at.
Yeah.
And just teaching that form so when you go to the college level, you have an idea as to what you're doing. But I was like, it's... You just got to set a foundation. Then you can go out and have fun, and that's I love having once a year the Ashland throwers come over to the facility.
I love watching that video.
Oh, but there are things that I can do with them that I can't. That, again, it looks great on video,
right?
But I'm taking collegiate level, all-American caliber athletes that have, and I know they have a foundation of strength and movement under them.
They're all very good athletes.
And they're all very good athletes. So they have good body mechanics, they have good foundational strength, and they're young enough to be pliable.
You're only doing it once.
And exactly it. There's a key. We are doing that workout once.
Yep.
That gives us some leeway with some of the exercises we select. At the same time, this has been a 5-year relationship that we've done this. There are exercises that we have on paper looked at, and we as in Judd and I, and said, oh, this is going to be great. But there are exercises that we will not go back to doing.
Right.
Because we were too close to that knife edge of an injury, which would have set people back further. And if we're injuring people, we're not being good coaches.
Yeah.
And and so it's you have some leeway with certain athletes, but at the same time, there are some exercises that I have just kind of taken out for certain populations. It's not worth it for that 5% chance that something could go wrong.
We when we have athletes, sometimes we'll have things like that where groups will come out and everyone wants to do Atlas Stones because we've got 100 some of them that are sitting around. And it's fine as long as we can teach them the proper mechanics of where to put hands. Mm-hmm. But inevitably, what you start seeing, especially as the guys, is those fingers start to point up, and they're getting into that position, her elbows down, her fingers up, and I got to shut it down, And
then it gets into that pissing contest.
Yes,
and that's where and it's like, oh, well, I can go faster, I can go bigger, and then it's like, well, how much experience do you have on this? Not a lot. Okay, let's figure out some of those things. And
my people in the gym are really good, and they two-step everything, just because that's how I taught them. Because they're not going to get hurt doing it. Yeah. They get it in their lap. They drop the hands over top, can over up. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about them getting hurt ever, which is number one priority. Just don't get hurt, and then. Who cares if you're not the fastest getting them up onto the platform? Yeah. You're going to get them up there anyhow, and you're going to do it, and you're going to go home and be able to pick up your baby at the end of the day because your biceps aren't ripped off.
Exactly.
So, but when you start getting some of those athletes in there that they just want to be better than everybody else, gets into that dangerous situation.
Very, very, very much so. And that's it's a double-edged sword personality-wise when you're that athlete that's going for the top.
Yeah,
you've got to have that mindset, because if you don't, you're not going to come anywhere near the top.
Yeah,
if you don't have that mindset of walking in the gym every single day is I'm better than everybody else here.
Yeah,
you've got to have that borderline psychotic drive.
Yeah,
that others aren't willing to get to.
It's getting more and more rare these days too with kids. I used to train a lot of kids in my little 20 by 20 garage, and the mindset of those kids that would show up to work out in
0-degree temperatures or 110-degree temperatures inside that garage. They were just animals. They were coming because they wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
And now you get kids in here who will get beat by their pregnant English teacher who's also in the same class, and they don't care.
Yeah.
If I was a 16-year-old kid and that happened to me, my life would be over.
Yeah.
Or I would come in there every day
to do
make sure
you'd
it
be
never
training
happened
in a dark closet to make sure nobody saw me again until I
Yeah.
was damn sure I could beat everybody
And
else.
we worked really hard with my son I always say I'm raising my son in the 80s. So we tried to look at, and it's hard to resist being that helicopter parent or being overly protective, but you have to let them
fail.
Yeah, exactly. You have to let them climb trees and fall out of them. You have to let them go down to the beach with their friends if they want to, and just go think to yourself that, okay, 99% of the time, he's not going to drown out there. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that was the attitude my parents had, and I'm sure your parents had too. Where it's like, oh, okay, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll see you at dinner.
Yeah, yeah. And you got to check in and let us know where you're at this time.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to trust that you're going to not be a complete idiot and as to how far you're going to go. But at the same time, yeah, you've got to learn that some of those hard lessons as a youth to be able to push it as you get older.
Yeah.
You got to know where that line is a little bit and understand that you can fall and it's okay. Oh, all right, yeah. No, shit hurts. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, it's bad. But yeah, learn that falling's okay. That all right, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And learn to struggle. I mean, again, conversation just a day or so ago. We were rehashing back, my trips to Russia and Latvia. Was some of the first things they said. They're like, yeah, Americans, you guys won't really ever be good at strength sports.
Right.
It's like, 'cause life's too easy.
Yeah.
Life's way too easy in the U.S. I mean, most of the gyms got climate control.
Yeah.
90-degree heat and exercise outside. Like, no, I'm going inside where it's cool. Where's my bottled water? Like, screw you, man.
I agree with that 100%.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
And so when we do get into, and we've sterilized a lot of our sports as well to, let's not, if it's raining, we're going to cancel the game. There's rain.
Yeah.
So what? You're going to get dirty. You're going to get muddy. Well, then we got to do laundry.
Right.
It's this, and it's like, well, where's the trainer and the medical personnel? It's like, I understand like those things are there to keep you safe, but at the same time, it's like, dude, we're wrapping ourselves in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many times have I've got scars on my body just because you've been stitched up on the bench playing ice hockey. It was like, talking with my mom this morning, and you had the steri strips, she had everything. I mean, she was a nurse, but we put ourselves back together in the kitchen. It was like boil some water, rub some salt in it, and let's go. Like, and it's hard because it's like, all right, the certain things are there to protect us, but like the human body's pretty freaking resilient.
My senior year,
I like to get banged up and dinged up a little bit. Like, I'm not here to preserve myself for anything.
I remember dropping a weightlifting plate on my foot when I was in my senior year of football because you weren't allowed to wear shoes in the weight room because they might get muddy.
Yeah.
Plate slipped out of my hand, fell on my foot, cut it all the way down to the bone. They stitched it up between my toes. And I had a game 2 days later I didn't get to play, but the following week I taped all my toes together so my toes couldn't spread. Yeah. Nowadays they never would let you do that. You'd be out for 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, you got a whole protocol you got to go
And my
through.
mother was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's what you got to do. I mean, I've got fingers, some of them that just don't go straight all the way. What'd you do? I don't know. I played sports growing up.
Right. Yeah. You got bumped around.
Stuff's beat up.
Talking about the Soviets saying that about the conditions. I was watching this video the other day from Rio, and there's this little jiu-jitsu school that's put out like 10 world champions, and it's at the roof of this in the top floor of this building, and I mean it's probably not a whole hell of a lot bigger than this big lobby area we're in. And these guys are in there. There's 30, 40 guys wrestling, and it's got to be 110, 120 degrees in Rio in the summer. They're in full gis. They're going at it. And in between rounds, it's so bad. There's a shower at the bottom of one of these flights of stairs. They go down there in their gi, cold water. Because they're already soaked anyhow.
Yeah, it's like, hey.
Cool off, they go right back to grappling. Yeah. It's like, that's hard.
Yeah. And that's some of the pieces that we're missing. I mean, it's not like, oh yeah, everybody go outside, grab your weights, and we're going outside in 90-degree heat and getting after it. That also needs to be trained, that exposure. That mentality needs to be eased into. And so to get back into some of our stress inoculation, I mean, those environments are stressful. And so you need to go into those environments, embrace those environments, and understand that you can come out the other side. But you can't, this is not a world that, listen to this podcast and hey, cold turkey, I'm freaking, next winter it's 30 degrees. I mean, like 0 degrees, screw it, we're outside. Like you do want to do it with some measure. And like I said, when you're 5 and you're doing that, what's cold and inoculates you to comfort and discomfort, it's a build-up process from birth. That's just sort of been ingrained in a few of us. It's just like, you just kind of keep going. And we've, through sports, have kept looking for that next item to push for. And you hear, it's like embracing fear essentially is like, what scares you? Okay, that's the direction I want to go. You have to do you have to go. And I look at events now, and I look at strength events that I did in the past. Like, I only sign up for stuff if there's a chance for me to fail. Like, if I know I can do it, I probably don't sign up for it. There's a couple events that I will do that are like that, but I enjoy having that chance that this is not going to work. Like, if it's a guaranteed success, I'm like, why the hell would I want to do that?
That totally makes sense. When we went to Iceland, Matt Vincent got a hold of me because he was injured. He was like, hey, we're going up to Husafell. I can't lift this. Do you want to come with us and we'll film you doing it? And I was like, okay. So I called his brother first. And I said, Andy, you've lifted the Husafell stone.
What's it like?
He's like, it's fucking heavy. I got a hold of Steve Pulcinella. He's like, in my strongest ever, I could not have lifted and carried that stone. I'm like, fuck. But
here we go.
I'm in it now. I got to do it. I think Steve's full of shit. I think he could have carried it as strong as no problem. But I just put the work in. And I had the best training cycle ever because I did not want to fail on this YouTube video that I know is going to get 800,000 likes or whatever, And it was the best cycle ever. Just because right up until the time I started walking, I was like,
is this actually what's going to happen here? And that's exactly, I mean, I want it to scare me. I want to have that chance of just epic failure. And
because it doesn't happen that often. You don't fail that often. No. It's much more rare that you fail.
Yes, and that is true, but you got to take that chance. And that and everybody's like, God, you're just fearless. I'm like, it's the opposite of fearless. Like, that may be the outward persona. I was like, but on the inside, dude, we're all shaking in our boots like crazy. But we've developed a process over the years as to, okay, what's the challenge? These are the steps that I know I need to take to achieve this goal that still scares the crap out of me. And until I cross that finish line, I'm still questioning whether it's actually going to happen. And then once you cross that finish line, it's like, okay, you've now opened a door to new possibilities that say, okay, well, I just did that. What else can I do? Where else can I go? And even on the endurance side, I mean, the Ironman very much did that for myself.
I bet.
It was just like, all right, I just did an Ironman. I'm still standing. Okay.
And how many people have done that? Very few.
Yeah, I mean, it's very few. But it was just like, okay. But at the same time, I feel like anyone's capable of getting to that point if you really want to.
It's between the years.
It is, yeah, it's very much. I mean, we talk about that frequently. Is you're training that 4 inches between the ears more than you're training anything else.
Yeah.
All the lifts and everything that we do in the gym are just different ways of attacking the same muscle, which is the brain.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. You completed this lift with 10 pounds. Okay, now we're going to go to 12 and a half, and then we're going to 15, and I'm going to convince you that you could have lifted 45 pounds when you first walked in here. But I had to build you up to that point.
Right.
Because if I just gave this to you, you would have fell flat on your face and said, I can't do this. This is stupid. I hurt myself and I'm leaving.
Yeah. And when you talk about building yourself up like that, you know, just talking, just listening to Laird Hamilton talk the other day about having his sauna up to 220 degrees. And so I've been wanting to get a sauna for the house, and my wife's like, "You're not doing that. You're not." I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to start off at 140.
Yeah. See,
and then
and
move
you can systematically move it up.
Right.
And that's...
And maybe I only get to 170.
So,
you know, who knows?
But over time, and so, if you just look at that, 220.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, dude, my oven gets...
Right.
I could bake something at a low temperature at that point. And it's like, but when you stretch that out over time, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, that is possible over time.
It's progressive resistance for life.
Yes, and then your perspective on everything changes based on your new benchmark.
Yes,
because then everything that came before that benchmark now is easy.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was, I mean, my endurance rate, like 3 weeks ago, I ran my second 50-miler trail run.
Woo!
And it was a heck of a lot easier than the one I did a year ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll be in, not tomorrow, but next Saturday, I've got the Mohican 100 mountain bike race. 2 weeks later, I've got a Mohican marathon trail run. The weekend after that, I go up to Michigan for a coast-to-coast bike race from Lake Huron to Lake Michigan, 212 miles.
Christ.
And then the weekend after that, we're down in Knoxville, Tennessee for a swim run, which is 3 miles open water swimming and 17 miles of trail running.
Wow.
If I survive June, I'm going to be like,
fuck
yeah, I'm going to take 4th of July and sit on my ass.
Right.
It's going to be awesome. But it's like, I look at this and I go, God, this is crazy. But it's a stepping stone to my ultimate goal of something even harder than that.
Yeah.
And so it's a process.
Yeah.
It's like, these are the events for this year, but they're process goals for me, they're benchmarks for me to hit so that I can go on and do something more challenging that scares me even more than just what these do this year. And I look back and it's like, it's crazy at this day and age, because 3 years ago I'd look at a marathon and go, it's just crazy long. And now I look at a trail marathon. I mean, now granted, I'm not winning the marathon, so don't.
Sure.
So let's.
But those people couldn't do shit with the kettlebells like you can.
Yeah.
Either.
So. Yeah, and that's where I always say, I was like, man, if there was a deadlift competition in every one of these races, I'd be like freaking, I'd make up a lot of ground on people. I always, and the other one I always joke around, and I nobody's taken me up on it yet, but I was like, I want to do like choose a distance. I don't care what it is, but we're going to make it a body weight run. Whoever signs up, all the males, bring a backpack.
Yeah.
Whoever the heaviest guy to sign up is, everybody goes to his body weight, and let's go.
Yeah.
Women, same thing.
Have you followed Ross Edgley at all? The guy who swam
not.
around the British Isles?
Okay, no, I have not.
Holy, this guy, so he swam around the British Isles. It took him 5.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
He's built, he's 240. He's 6 foot, 240, 230, just jacked to the tits. And, but he did that, and then he, before that, he ran a marathon strapped to a car, so he was dragging the car for the whole marathon.
Yeah.
But everyone's telling him, what do you? But it's the same thing. He's looking at things that freak him out and that people think he can't do, and he's just trying to. And hearing him talk about his training program and his thoughts on training, it's very eye-opening, because we're so used to, you do trivasic training, or you do conjugate training, or you do 5-3-1, and he's like, no,
whatever the hell I want.
Exactly. And he's like, some days I'm going to go in, I'm going to bench press as much as I can for that day for this many reps, and then some days I'm going to go in and run 7 miles, and
Yeah.
He's just got all these different, and it's he kind of instinctively knows what he needs and what he wants to do for that day and puts it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. He was swimming for 5.5 months. He never got on land. As soon as he would get done swimming for the day, he'd be on the boat. He'd sleep for 6 hours, get right back in the water.
Yeah.
Crazy. Check him out. Ross Edgley's his name.
Yeah, no,
Something else.
Definitely be doing that.
You were just down at SummerStrong.
Yes, good old Sorinex headquarters down in
I've never been down there for that.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. It has grown from a one-day event, which was around Pop's Richard Soren, the founder of Sorinex's birthday, which was his birthday is in June. I want to say it's like June 24th or something. And so we used to do a one-day sort of gathering on his birthday, but it worked out better for a lot of the collegiate strength coaches to do it the weekend before Memorial Day, and so they changed the date. And
I thought it was early this year.
Yeah, and so it's grown to be that sort of weekend before Memorial Day weekend is, and now it's 650 people. So what started as about 35 of us.
And then we're looking at speakers and training. And who stood out? Who impressed you?
Oh man, Neil. I can't pronounce his last name, but he was one of the. He's a forger, a knife maker. He's won Forged in Fire.
Oh, I started following him the other day. Yeah.
From Hawaii, and it's SummerStrong. It's strength. It's weights. But it's so much more than that. They put the term lightning in a bottle, and it's more than that. It's life, and we're down there and we're talking strength, and like we just said, it's like, dude, there's triphasic, there's conjugate, there's just your basic bread and butter periodization. There's 5x5, there's 5-3-1, there's juggernaut. There's so many different programs out there. That's X's and O's.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's easy.
Yep. And they all work.
And see, that's the thing. Is like
big secret, pro tip.
Pro tip out there. I don't care what program you're doing. If you're doing it, do it.
Yep.
It's going to work. It's going to make you stronger. Yep. If you show up every day, I mean, the key is you show up and do something. Movement. Yep. It works. I don't care if you're doing Laird Hamilton's underwater, craziness, or Wim Hof's breathing methods.
Stick with it.
Go with it. It's going to get you somewhere.
Yep.
So the X's and O's is the easy part. Sorinex acknowledges that. We talk about the X's and O's. We perform the X's and O's. A lot of the speakers come in and it's just life. And it gets all wrapped back into becoming stronger, but strength comes in so many other forms than just what a barbell is.
Yeah.
There's and so we talk about you got to train the 4 inches between your ears. That's probably where SummerStrong hits the most is the 4 inches between your ears, because everyone in that room knows the X's and O's. We all are producing high level athletes. We're all working with high level athletes. X's and O's don't really matter. Go out there, do your job, but can you communicate with your athletes and recognize when they walk in the door? You don't have to ask them how they're doing. You can see it, you can feel it, and you can tell if it's on a low and you can tell if it's on a high, and you tweak it. And that's where there's the science of it all, X's and O's, and then there's the art form of being a good trainer, and that is going, okay, what do I need to do to work with this person? Because programs are a dime a dozen, but can I take my client, make them happy, listen to their needs, listen to their goals, listen to their aches and pains, find out, what are you doing this weekend? Curious, I may sound like a nice guy. I'm asking what you're doing for the weekend. No, I'm asking what I can do to train you better today, because I know what you're doing this weekend.
Yep.
And, what'd you do, this past weekend? Finding out, I know you should walk down the steps a little more gingerly. What'd you do? Well, this is acting, okay. Yeah, my arthritis in my feet are acting up a little bit. Okay, well, we're going to take a little bit longer to get you moving before I get into other lower body exercises, because legs are feeling a little bit. understand that, yeah, when something hurts, all right, just because I have it written down and this is my squat warm-up,
Yeah.
that you need to be doing that. Well, guess what? I may have to change things up.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of our clients have life that the gym is maybe an hour out of their day, and they don't live for performance like you and I may live for performance each and every day. So my job is to get the best out of them for that hour, but keep in mind the big picture of what this person's life truly entails. Just because my life entails trying to go out and torture myself at 1 mile, ultra distance.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 24 hours running. How far can I go when I'm willing to go to the hospital to achieve it?
Yeah.
That's not fun for most people.
That was the hardest thing I had to learn when I started training in groups like this, when I wasn't dealing with just athletes anymore. And I still struggle with it, where you don't realize that, like you said, this is an hour out of their day where they're driving from Cleveland and they're working in an office all day, and then they drive out to Cleveland for an hour, they work 8 hours, they drive home an hour, they get an hour to train, and they're going to go home to their families. And it's like, they're not going to the Olympics.
Nope.
So you just got to get them the best workout you can on that day. And you might not see them for 4 days after that.
Yep.
But you just got to give them what you can give them on that day.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with it, but I'm getting better with a lot of self-talk. We're like, okay, she's not being a pussy. She's got a lot of shit on her
She's got a lot of
plate.
shit on her mind.
Yeah.
I'm here to be a distractor, so sometimes I'm not going to ask her what's going on. I can tell shit's going on.
Yeah.
My job is shut up and get her brain to think of something completely else.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get into work, I know this ain't working. This she's not mentally. All right, guess what? We're gonna change this up. We're gonna do something completely different.
Yeah.
And we're gonna and it's fine. I get some of my young grade school kids come in with their parents. It's like if we've done a workout before, it's like they just lose interest, and it's like no, I gotta come up with something cool.
Yeah.
They're the ones. It's like, all right, I gotta find something unique for this kid to do.
Yep.
That's gonna work him, not break him, but keep him engaged in the process. Because sometimes working out with mom and dad just isn't cool.
Yeah.
So gotta find a way. All right, how do we make this special? What kind of game do I have to create out of nothing?
We with our sports performance young athletes, and I don't think we have a kid over 15 in that class, but they do a heavy upper body day, they do a heavy lower body day, heavy whatever that means, 3s, 5s, 6s, whatever, and then they do 2 days of kind of metcons the way we do it for the rest of the class. So they're flipping tires, they're loading stones. And I think they love those classes because it's something different every time they come in. They're getting stronger. They don't realize they're getting stronger. But like you said, it's working between the ears. It's making them mentally tough.
Tires, sandbags, and stones are just always kind of fun. And you
can get brutally strong.
And you can get really strong doing it. So those are definitely some of the fun things to do. And then some, and then we with most of my high school athletes, we're doing some sort of a cash out finisher. Of sort of just, okay, here you got 1, maybe 2 exercises, and we're just kind of gonna just sort of pump it up. Sometimes it's like, all right, we're running the rack dumbbell curls.
Right.
You're like, all right, what's my favorite? I'm like, it's been good. Let's pump up the biceps and go. It's like, all right, what are we doing? It's like, all right, I don't care what it is, but you're just gonna, I want 100 reps out of something. You get to choose an exercise.
How do you normally work? Do you work one-on-one clients? Do you work small groups?
Mostly I try to get into like the one-on-one. It's very rare. Groups will form organically where I've got a group of like 4 high school kids that are all in about the same time. Rarely are they all in the exact same program.
Right.
Mainly because life practices, to say that, this group is going to train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that'll last for a week maybe. Because all of a sudden they're not all on the same team. If I can get kids that are all on the same team, then that works brilliantly well. Most of the time it's, so-and-so's playing baseball, this, one of the girls is playing softball, they're all the same age, but it's like practices get jumbled up, so it's like, all right, you're going to have one guy benching, one guy squatting, one guy deadlifting, they're all over the place, and I'm sort of in the middle barking orders and
right
calling out weights for everybody.
Yeah.
But they're all, John and being just giving each other shit left.
It's kind of the best of both worlds,
yeah,
right?
so it's like group training, but it's more individualized as to, okay, here's where you need to be at what things, and then they all are like, oh, you got that today?
Right.
I'm glad that's not my day.
Yeah.
So they all know the exercises that are fun, and then there's the exercises that are my kind of fun.
Right.
And so my fun and their fun.
Yeah,
we always joke back and forth that everybody calls my fun a little twisted and sick, but so it's a fun game that they get to jaw with me a little bit and be like, whose fun are we having today? Are we having your fun, or are we having my kind of fun?
Right.
So it's a good back and forth healthy relationship in that sense where we can allow a little bit of shit talking to go on, and it's we keep it in a positive light.
Well, that's a lost technique in itself that kids need to learn is how to take and dish out a little shit talking.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Their feelings hurt.
Yeah, and so it's nice, and being the I guess the adult in the room. You kind of encourage the younger guys to give it back to the older guys when they get it, and be like, you get with them, be like, hey, give it right back to them. Or when the younger kid says something to the older kid, you make sure to let the older one know that, hey, you just got put in your place.
You just got burned by the youngster.
So the young kid kind of like perks up, like, I did something good. Like, even if it was just mild, it's like you pat the young one on the back saying, hey, that was good. I acknowledge that, and it was welcomed, and I'm not the one that's going to sit here and be like, oh, respect the upperclassmen, don't talk back. It's like, no, you're allowed to put him in his place a little bit. Yeah, it's a back and forth and stuff, and so you play the moderator as the old guy in the room, and just
I kind of look at it as, and even though I have women, because I train girls too, but I think all the same parameters apply to both boys and girls, but I feel like I'm training them to be men.
Yeah, it's very much I very much talk about and look at my role also as, I'm the uncle.
Yeah.
I'm outside of the family, but I'm in the family type thing. And so I've got numerous high school athletes that are now, they're working full-time jobs.
Right.
That, will still come back and come in and see me now. And it's weird that, like, if I'm at the brewery or something, somebody will buy me a drink. And I'm like, hey, man, where are your parents? Like, do they know you're here? Like, did they drop you off? What's going on?
It's like so odd. And
it's like, I've known these kids for 15 years of life. Well,
you look at kids like Malcolm Majeski at Ashland.
Yeah,
he was one of my kids. Now I'm asking him questions.
Yeah, and that's just it. And it's been a relationship that has grown and fostered. And I've got no problem. Like, you'll have these high school kids. I mean, I remember you've got some shit going on in life in the teenage years.
Yeah.
And so if I can, have fun with them, but at the same time remember, hey, keep your ass in school, do your homework, just be that extra, like, I know this may go in one ear and out the other, but I'm going to let you know, hey, you can have fun, but there's a limit. Like, let's keep it within the realm of decency.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to put you in your place if you need to be.
Yeah.
But I will also very much listen to what your needs and respect those individual bounds in conversation, because sometimes you just need an adult sounding board
and
can
the problem
go.
Is, and you get boys in here especially who their fathers are not, they might be the nicest guys in the world, but they're not doing the things to make their kids better men. So their example is they're sitting at home and watching Cleveland Browns football on Sundays in front of the couch with a big bag of Doritos on their chest. Mm-hmm. They are not necessarily opening the car door for their wife. They're not exercising at all. And I know I was never one of these guys who told my son, hey, you have to say yes sir, yes ma'am. I'm just not that guy.
Yeah.
But he always does, because I think he hears me doing it.
Yeah.
And it sticks with him. And
I think he trains because I've always trained. He just understands that that's what we do.
Yeah.
And without being, you don't have to be, everybody has their own trip in life, right? So if dad wants to sit in front of the couch and eat Doritos and watch Cleveland Browns football, I understand that. So I can be that surrogate guy for them that says, hey, this is the way we do things. And maybe, I always talk about my father, who I didn't realize was how special he was until I was older. So when I was a kid, my father wasn't my hero. I wanted to be like the Road Warriors or Hulk Hogan or Rambo or somebody like this. It wasn't until later when I got a mortgage payment and stuff and realized that my father went 30-some years and never missed a mortgage payment and got up every morning, and I didn't see him that often because he was fucking working his ass off, And my mother was going out at night, and when my father would get home, she would go out and work at a deli, and that became heroic. But I think some of these kids look at that now and they just need someone to push them in the right direction, and media is different these days. So when I was a kid, we had Rambo and we had Arnold and we had all these guys. You wanted to be Conan, and who are they going to be now? Zac Efron? I mean, it's a totally different lifestyle.
Well, and it's everything now. I talk about. I mean, it's instant. Everything's instant.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be sitting here having this conversation. I could grab my phone, hop on Amazon, and probably have something delivered to my door. 307. Yeah, sweet.
Right.
Get Amazon in an hour in some locations.
Yeah.
But the worst, I mean, I could have something delivered to me tomorrow.
Right.
If I'm going to pay, the cash dollars for it. Unfortunately, life for the most part doesn't work. It's like a barge, man. It's slow and it's repetitive and it's a process.
Yeah.
And lifting is very much that. There's not that, hey, what's the workout that's going to make me great?
Right.
Well, keep showing up.
And that's why the X's and O's don't matter that much.
It doesn't matter. You got to show up day in, day out, come in here and do something.
Yep.
You do that, greatness is a chance. And I had high school kids in a class visit. They came in to visit, and I was like, unfortunately, guys, right now, there's so much information, and we know so much about sports. It is a shitty time to be a high school athlete.
Right.
Because based on your height, your weight, your 40 time, your bench, whatever numbers you want, I can put it in the computer, and I can find out what sport position you match up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's like the kid that's 6 foot and wants to be a jockey. I'm sorry, it's
You're
not
right.
in the cards. But I mean, like growing up in the '80s, we had Spud Webb to watch.
Right.
That freak athlete that didn't fit the picture perfect scenario that could go out there and get it done with the big boys.
Right.
If I told you that I've got a 6'7", 6'8", 275-pound individual, he's going to run the floor, dribble, and shoot threes, be laughed out of the room in the 80s.
Right.
And yet we got LeBron James right now running up and down the court doing just that.
Yeah.
So if you were 6'8", 270, go stand in the key. Maybe we'll throw you the ball.
Right.
Like, get rebounds. That's your job.
Yeah.
You're going to be slow, you're dumb, and you're unathletic.
Yeah.
Now,
would Barry Sanders even have gotten a look by most pro teams?
Doesn't you?
Maybe the best ever.
But even still, like, I don't know if he'd survive in the league. It's so much faster and so much more precise.
Yeah.
He could be a freak athlete at that time. They're all freak athletes now.
Yeah.
They all can run. Like, if you're not 6'8", 300 pounds, sorry, you're not.
Yeah.
I can't recruit you. Like, if you're a linebacker and you don't fit 6'2" to 6'6", 245 to 265, that's not the position you're going to play.
Yeah.
And if that's the position you thought you're going to play, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And there's just a mold that says you need to jump. If you're a cornerback, you got to be able to run this fast, jump this high, and then have this experience level and be injury free.
Yeah.
If you're not, sorry. And it's the same thing. I mean, baseball pitchers, like, if you're not throwing in the 80s, colleges ain't looking at you.
Right.
You're not touching 90. D1 schools aren't looking at you.
It's similar to the Soviet system, except we don't prepare the athletes for the system like they did.
Yeah.
So I always looked at when my son, we went, did you see Boris Shenko when he was at Ashland? Did you go over there?
Yes.
So I remember him putting up that diagram, and it showed just how much training in the actual sport these athletes would do from a certain age all the way up.
Their whole sport classification of class 4, 3, 2, 1, candidate for master sport, master sport, world class. For every sport and activity, lets you know where you are in the hierarchy, and if you're not here by a certain age, guess what? You go to the factory because...
Or maybe they move you to a different event.
Yeah, or move you to something else. But that classification of everything kept you in check. And so, but it also gave you a way to judge, are you moving up and classing up? And so it makes sense, but it's also cruel in the sense that, everybody doesn't get the freedom to come to the big dance.
Yeah.
It's very much a different environment.
They just moved it from, say, junior high to now where we do this at the college level. You're not going to get to play anymore. You're done. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. Well, if someone would have told me this at the junior high level, maybe I wouldn't have stayed with football. Maybe I would have tried baseball.
Change something up. Yeah, I'm going to try a different sport. And because we still want to play and participate, and that's fine. But it's not, not everybody's going to make the big leagues.
Yeah.
And that's the hard pill to swallow. It's a hard thing to tell parents when their kids come in that,
Oh God! Do you know how many kids I've come in whose dads have told me their kid's going to be a Division I football player? And I look at them, I go, "No, they're not. I can tell you right now." I mean, I don't say that, but it's like you don't you're not going to make it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You could probably be a good D2 kid. Mm-hmm. But
and that's okay.
Yeah.
But no,
they don't realize how special you have to be to become a John Wellborn.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You about the percentages of. The smallest percentages possible to be that NFL player for a decade in the NFL. I mean,
and it's like I said, you now have to have it's the East German way of genetically engineering athletes now. Your parents need to be athletes, and then you need to have the size and dimensions of the sport that you're trying to work towards.
Right.
You need to cultivate athleticism from a young age, focus on it as you get through high school and into college, and then it's still only a chance.
Yeah.
But if you're not literally raised and basically pedigreed like a thoroughbred racehorse from birth on through, I'm sorry. Like that just gut-wrenching, work hard athlete that's going to make it to the top. Now you got to have the genetic predisposition, the work ethic, and even then it's just chance.
And what happens here in the next decade when we start looking at things like CRISPR, where parents are able to genetically engineer their children?
Putting things together. It's only getting more precise in how we're putting things together.
You're going to have things that look like the Thing from the Fantastic Four, just monsters.
Yeah. I mean, when like I said, when you look at any of your top athletes in any of the sport, and they're starting to become footnotes because all of them are like that.
Yeah.
And the freakish are becoming more freakish.
Yeah.
And
look at Strongman now compared to Thor and Brian Shaw compared to Sigmarsson and Kaz,
Yeah.
It's or Yukahola, who is 260, You're never going to see another Yukahola.
No. Yeah. And it's just if you're not 6'6", you don't have a future in pro strongman.
No.
It's just that, and they used to be like, oh, they're not, the smaller guys could out athletic the big guys. The big guys are good for static events.
Yeah.
There was a back and forth. Those guys are carrying stuff and moving their feet just as fast as the small guys. And somebody else is going to be coming up through the ranks that's going to do it even better than them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I remember watching Phil Pfister do the farmer's walk at like 275 a hand.
Yeah, right?
They're doing that at lightweight amateur shows now.
I have a 170-pound kid lifted heavier stones than Kaz and Sigmarsson lifted. In
exactly.
Day.
Yeah.
But it was they just didn't know. They didn't have stones.
They didn't have stones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just that. It was like a 300-pound stone. If you picked up,
right.
I remember being at the America's Strongest Man with the first lightweight pro lifted a 400-pound stone to a platform.
Yeah.
And the place went nuts, and it was just like, dude, everybody lifts a 400-pound stone now.
Right.
You know, the 400-pound log, yeah, they do. They hit that in amateur shows.
Yeah.
Remember when the heavyweight lightweights were struggling? Like, nobody had hit 400 in America yet.
Yeah.
And it was just like, who's going to be the first person to hit 400? I'm like, yeah, I know lightweights.
You see that video we did with Steve Schmidt doing over 400 for a double in his garage?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And the first one, he Viper pressed it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's
and
nuts.
he doesn't even really compete that much, you know?
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
As to where the sport has progressed.
Can you imagine though if you had if a sport like strongman was popular in Russia, where they actually put the same kind of system in place for that, where they looked at these kids at a young age. The thing I liked about their system was the amount of GPP work they had starting young and working away, which I think we miss, especially with like these $1 million sports facilities, where they're doing stuff that they see some NFL player doing, and it's like, well, yeah, we can say, yeah, you're doing this. I don't know who's the Odell Beckham. I don't know football players, but let's say Odell Beckham's doing a workout on TV, and the trainer has the kids doing it. Well, they have no background to get to that point. You know, they need to be squatting and benching and sprinting and deadlifting and jumping
and doing all the different variations,
dragging sleds and
multiple exercises.
Yep.
Hundreds of exercises, whereas the top level athletes are going to do 2 to 3 exercises because they fine-tuned everything. It's like young athletes, it's like, all right, we're going to use dumbbells, we're going to hit all these different angles because all those angles matter, and we're still programming the hardwiring system in your brain as to how to move everything in multiple angles up and down the board.
Yeah, and then when they get to the level of pros, by then, I mean, Buddy Morris is acting like just a wrangler to make sure nobody gets hurt at that level. To me, I'm sure he's making $8 jillion, but to me, that's a waste of Buddy Morris. Buddy Morris, he probably would be happier working with college kids or high school kids.
Because you can still make a difference.
Yes, right.
Pro level, you're managing bodies, babysitting.
Yep.
Nobody hurt themselves. Like you're going back to the. All right, everybody, it's time to go home and shut the lights off. And put your notebooks, put your phones away. You gotta get some sleep. Make sure you eat your vegetables, take your vitamins. Did you chew your food all the way, or did you? That's
breathe through your nose.
Yeah, you're getting back to basic living of just managing bodies.
Because they're the 1%ers.
Yeah,
the 1%ers. They're already top of the food chain people, and I go back to Wellborn. Here's a guy who was a 1%er who also had that work ethic and loved to train, which I don't know if you get as much, with some of these guys.
Yeah.
Or even if they wanted him to train as much as he was training. He has a love for strength, which not a lot of those guys probably do. They have a love for football, and that's about it. But I'm a big believer. We have what's called our foundations program, where they back squat, they front squat, they deadlift, or they sumo deadlift, they military press, and they bench. We just mix it up every week, mix up the reps. They never max out. They do a lot of bodybuilding stuff. They drag sleds, they sprint, they do some basic jumping. I like jumping out of boxes because the concussion isn't as bad, but we never send them on a high box. Just stuff that they're just going to continuously get better and better and better.
Yep.
And I think that's what we miss, and I wish parents would pay attention and stop wasting their money on $300 a month programs that are actually not doing what their intended purpose is. And the problem is parents aren't educated the way we are.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I can't do accounting like they can, but if they could just figure out that what they actually need is the very basics and just let them progress, and maybe not have your kid play travel baseball and practice 3 hours a night. That's
well. It's oh man, what was it? I think it was at the state clinic. We're sitting there and put this whole panel of strength coaches out there and sitting there, and everybody's just talking about sports performance this, and I'm going, I was like, we love the term sports performance coach. we're remedial exercise
Yeah.
practitioners.
Yeah. It's adult
I mean, we're teaching people how to sit down and stand up.
Yep.
Move your arms like this.
Yeah.
Like, we call it sports performance because it's the buzzword out there.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you how to bend your knees.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and not fall over. Like, I'm teaching you
And
how
that's
to
what most of these kids need.
I was like, but that's exactly it. That's what they need. Sports performance and, I got to get this complicated. Dude, you can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Bring a kid in here and try to get him to jump rope.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that's like a
we do that 2 minutes every day. We do 2 minutes jump rope, just jump rope. I can't. Well, you got 2 minutes of practice.
Yeah.
Like this is what we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
I was like, they just look and like, how do you do that? I'm like,
start slow.
You start slow. I was like, here's how it goes. But that's what we're, I got kids that I got to teach how to skip across the room.
Yeah, right.
Let's skip. Skip. Yeah. We're going to go. We're going to do this. You're going to skip. Huh.
Cartwheels. I have my kids doing cartwheels all the time.
It's like, all right, and I'm like, okay, you want to be a great athlete, but I can't get you to skip across the room. Like,
I had a kid argue with me about jumping rope. He's like, it's for girls.
Yeah.
So I pulled up a video of Mike Tyson, and I go, tell that motherfucker he's a girl. And he's just, just craziness.
Yeah, but it's simple, but everybody wants to do the complex.
Yeah.
That they don't want to break it down to what's the simplest thing I can do and still be effective. It's, no, I got to be doing, this crossbody med ball throw into 10,000 other things. And it's like with a lunge and then sprinting into a backhand spring, flipping tires and screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay, that's great and all, but can you skip across the room for me and make it be fluid?
Tier one. What can you do right off the street?
Yeah, and make those and that's a motor pattern, and that's where I still get into like footwork agility drills with like cones and ladders and stuff.
Sure.
Everybody's like, oh, that's speed ladders. That's not really a speed ladder. I'm like, no, it's a coordination ladder.
Right.
I was like, I am teaching. Yes, it's paint by number footwork.
Right.
But if you can't do paint by number footwork, trying to get into the true complication speed work of hitting cones, turning your hips and moving, and if you can't do it cookie cutter, going out and doing the dot drill really is going to throw you for a loop. When I put 4 cones and it's like, all right, sprint, breakdown, shuffle, sprint, shuffle, and get into something that's going to actually get your change of direction. Like, you can't do it standing still.
Yeah. It's something that I think the lack of PE in schools and the PE that they have is so remedial that.
But it's continued to get remedial.
They dumb it down every year.
Because we're trying to get everybody to participate. Because when it gets difficult, we've come full circle. When it gets difficult, well, it's okay. We're making it easier. So we've insulated ourselves of, well, the weather's too cold. We can't go outside and play.
Right.
Because we're insulating ourselves from cold. Well, now it's too hot, so we also can't. So there's only a 20-degree span of temperatures that we're allowed to do something in. If not, we've told ourselves and convinced ourselves that it's okay. We cancel school because of weather. So and then we wonder why. Oh, I can't get anybody to show up for work.
Yeah,
well, dude, you just spent 18 years of life.
It's a good
telling
point.
This kid, if the weather is raining, too cold, too hot, too whatever,
you got the sniffles.
You don't have to go.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, at 18 years old, they're supposed to just figure out that nobody cares what the weather is. You're supposed to show up anyways. Oh, dude, I got like days off. I can take whenever I want. I don't have to go. Like, well, we get Monday off, so I'm not going to go to school on Friday. We're going to get a 4-day weekend.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I was 5.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work in the real world.
Especially if you work for yourself.
The holiday is this holiday weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that's because I just recently started taking the Monday off and not going to the gym to train people on that Saturday or Monday.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I finally am learning to take a couple days off. I'm going to take 3 days. This is going to be freaking awesome.
Took me a while
to
do that. I don't work on Fridays.
Exactly. So, but yet we as a society, like, oh, well, It snowed last night. Yeah, can't make it in. It's too rough. I don't have the proper vehicle to drive in the snow.
When I was working, I worked at corrections for 19 years, and probably the last 6 or 7, I was the head of the union out there. And I took that job. I'm not a union guy at all, but I took the job because I didn't want anybody else to do it, because I didn't want my fate in anybody else's hands. But one of the things I had to deal with was these young kids who would wake up and they couldn't make it out of their driveway because it snowed too much.
Yeah.
And I just made it in because I knew, I looked at the weather the night before, it's going to be a snowstorm. So
I gotta get up early and shovel the snow. Get out.
And the bosses would want to write them up. So now I'm having to fight for this kid who, and I agree with the bosses, that they should write the fucker up. But now I got to fight for it. It was so exhausting because you would fight and get the kid off, and then you would pull the kid aside and say, "Look, motherfucker, you can't do this."
Yeah.
And they would just blow you off.
No, I just did.
Yeah.
And so that I look at as a society, it's a societal change that needs to happen, and it just keeps getting easier and easier to do things because you give an inch and it's like, I can take this inch and not get a consequence for it, so I can take a little bit more, and now it's if it's too hard, man, I'll just find something else.
Genghis Khan had a quote that was up the stairs with wooden shoes and down the stairs with silk slippers, and it was even him lamenting back in the day where the Mongols had spread out and made the second biggest empire of all time and conquered these people through extreme violence and speed and technique, and they conquered all of Asia and into Europe, and now his grandchildren were becoming more and more Chinese and more soft, and he could just see into the future that this was going to be the end of their empire because they had gone out and charged across the world and just been the most ferocious, toughest, hardest people on the planet, and they created this life. Now 2 generations later, that's going to fail because it was too easy for them.
It was so easy. It was easy to maintain.
So you see those cycles continue with different, and we're in the middle of it.
We're in the middle.
World War II, you had that. We're going to go out and kill the Nazis. You
had that purpose.
Yes.
You had that, and it was and that fear drove you to that purpose.
Yeah.
And then it was easy. Like, everybody gets a job. Everybody gets this.
Yeah.
I get time off. I deserve this amount of time off. What have you done? Why? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And really, nobody cares what it is you do or do not do. Like, like everybody gets caught up in, like I said, social media makes you think like people care about you.
Right. Doesn't take much to hit the love button.
Like if I stopped posting, like I may go a week where people will be like, I wonder what happened after that, dude. Footnote.
Yeah.
Nobody would care.
Yep.
And that's where I look at them like, dude, like this is what I do regardless of anything else. I'm me, whether it's on air, off air. Like we grew up in a generation that didn't have a lot of that. So
and I think people identify realness, and they can identify with people who are of a similar mindset than them. So when you talk about that, I identify with that.
Yeah.
If these microphones went away and I would still be doing the same fucking workouts even if I wasn't posting them.
Exactly.
But I think that goes to longevity, and we're going to be doing this until someone tells us your body is not going to do this anymore, or they put us in the grave. There's not going to be any downturn. There's not going to be any, because I don't think you made the comment earlier about you're going to do all these races and then you can chill out on July 4th. And I remember last year building up to this strongman competition at Sean Shoemaker's place and training and getting through it and thinking to myself, I'm uninjured. I've been putting this huge cycle of training in. Now we're going to go to Key West for a week and just not have to do anything. And I can actually feel good about doing that. And when I was down there, we still fucking trained.
Well, and that's just it. My idea of relaxation is still going to be hiking, probably going to go for a trail run. We're going to, there's a lake. All right, well, let's swim across the lake.
Yep.
How fun would that be?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. We'll park here, we'll run over here, we'll jump in, we'll swim across the lake, and we'll catch the second half of the trail and we'll run back.
Right.
And it's cool, and it's a nice place to be that I can now have some of those experiences because of the fitness that I've acquired.
That's a good point, because a lot of people can't do that.
And so I know one of my best clients is their family every other year took a trip to the Grand Canyon. She absolutely hated the trip. Wanted the family to stop doing it.
Right.
Which is the dumbest thing ever. Worked with her for a year. Got her in shape. We did Turkish get-ups. We did squats. We did lunges. She went on the trip. Came back and she's like, I had the best time of my life.
Yeah.
She's like, I used to go on that trip reluctantly. I'd get bounced around the boat, tossed everywhere. She's like, I was actually able to sit in the boat and control my body. She's like, and then I used to sit and camp all day while everybody else would go on these hikes.
Yeah.
She's like, I went on every hike. And she's like, that area is so beautiful, so gorgeous. No wonder it
sucked if she wasn't doing anything.
She wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But she then got herself in enough shape to enjoy the experience. She said there was one hike she missed out on, and she regrets it to this day. She's like, I should have gone on that hike.
Yeah.
She's like, and I was like, yeah. She's like, thank you. She's like, I was able to. She's like, I enjoyed something that I went into knowing I was going to hate.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just because she was in better shape, she could enjoy it. I just had another client come back. Her and her husband were on a cruise, 10-year anniversary, and it was just like they went on this hike, and she's like over half the people dropped out of this hike, and we got up to the top of the mountain and just great views and everything. And she's like, 60% of the people got a little ways into it, saw that it was a struggle, and they turned around and bailed on it. And it's like she's like, not that we like dominated the hike or anything. Right. She's like, but we did it, and it was amazing. And they enjoyed it, and they had a great time. And it was just like, yeah, no, that's your success. I mean, yeah, it's great when your kids go on to college and become All-Americans. But I was like, dude, you got a lot more of the working day people that it's like, I've been high-fived by clients. I shoveled snow for the first time.
Sure. Or training for life.
Training for life. I walked down the stairs and I didn't have to take it one step at a time.
Right, or go down sideways.
Going down sideways, yeah. Like those, I mean, it's like, that's a I mean, you want to talk about giving somebody's life back to them.
Yeah.
Like, allow them to go out and just live. And it's like, and that's where, I'm doing the same thing. Like,
getting the most out of it.
Let's go to the woods. I'm ready. I don't do CrossFit, but I'm CrossFit. I'm like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Somebody calls me up. Hey, let's go do this.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready
do
for
whatever
anything.
That's kind of where I am in training right now. We had Dollar Bill Boyer in here a couple weeks ago, but he had talked on a previous podcast about him and his buddies were going to go to Machu Picchu. Mm-hmm. And they walked the trail to Machu Picchu. Yeah. And it was like 5 days of trips into the jungle.
Yeah, the long trails. Pretty awesome.
They finally get to Machu Picchu, and they're climbing the mountain, and they're cresting it, and the sun's coming up, and they get there, and they got about 5 or 10 minutes of alone time at Machu Picchu, and then the buses showed up, and all these fat fuckers got off there that just took a 45-minute bus ride.
Yeah.
And he said he was so disheartening that he had gone through this trek and this quest to get there, and all these fuckers just pull right up, Yeah. But that's where I am now too, and I just want to be able to do whatever comes my way. There's I've always wanted to do the 7-mile bridge run in Key West, Florida, and I run a 5K every year. We have a 5K here at the gym, and I've always been. My thoughts are you should be able to run a 5K no matter what if you're an athlete. You might not run it fast, but you should be able to run it. Yeah. And I've always done it, but every year it's gotten a little bit better. Last year it got measurably better because I had lost some weight and I had started doing more of these type of workouts. And I'm hoping next year, talking to the wife, I'd like to go down there and run that. It's 7 miles right outside of Key West, and you run the bridge, you shut it down, and I just think it would be a great. Not really a test of fitness because I don't care how fast I go, but it's something I'll be able to do.
Yeah, it's an experience, and you want to do it. And
then afterwards, we'll fucking go to Captain Tony's and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly it. And that's a lot of the races all finish up with a beer too. Right. And it's a good micro brews that are in and around. And yeah, that's all that right now is sort of like it's like I want it to scare me a little bit.
Right.
I want it to inspire me, and I want to go someplace that I've not been before. That's how I choose
That's
competition.
a proper life.
That's how I choose my competitions
Yeah.
now. Is like inspired, fear, and show me something new.
Yeah. Do you travel much outside of athletics?
Really? No.
It's kind of hard to drag yourself away, I know.
Yeah, and I get to see some really. I mean, we go backpacking in the wintertime, so it's still physically active.
Sure.
So it's not always a competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I could sit on a beach for like a day,
Really?
and then I'm like, gotta go do something.
Yeah.
Like let's go see what like find a trail like hiking. It doesn't have to be grueling experience, but to just be like, oh yeah, 5 days we're just gonna wake up and sit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we always do something.
And then
We do some
I
kind of
don't like
training.
being around like people.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's like I like Hilton Head. No, sorry, not my cup of tea. Like everybody, but it's like everybody goes there. Yeah, that's why I don't want to go there.
When I was a kid, we used to go there and nobody even knew about it.
Yeah,
you know?
so I'll go up to like northern Michigan on like the sand dunes of Michigan.
Yeah.
That is much better.
Yeah.
A lot less people. I mean, you'll still get some people in areas, but that I can break away. There's other places that you can go that just get you that solitude and peacefulness. So
yeah, we will go and I will sit on a beach for as long as they let me sit on a beach. But we always train. We do some kind of training in the morning before we do it. But then we're also snorkeling and swimming. And
see, and that's where
stuff.
I'd be. If we were there, I'd be setting up excursions like, okay,
Sure.
we're snorkeling, we're surfing, stand-up paddleboarding, sea kayaking.
I love stand-up paddleboarding.
Like all those activities. It's like, all right, we get someplace. All right, is there an open water swim? Like, is there a place where people just go and swim? Like, okay, but that's where I'm at now. Like, because I can do those things with the fitness that I've acquired over these last 4 or 5 years. Before, when it was lifting, it was I need to find a gym to lift something because
and you have to eat every 3 hours.
Yeah, so this has been an evolution of myself to where I can go and enjoy those things at a much greater level now because of the fitness and the work capacity that I've trained specifically for.
What's your nutrition like right now as far as with the switch in?
Yeah, it's initially it was portion control.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I had 2 Chipotle burritos before I came up here, so.
But it's not like you're going to let that sit in your belly.
No, so it's like we're doing this. We get done with this, and I'm heading down to meet my girlfriend for an open water swim. We'll probably swim.
Where are you swimming?
Killbuck Lake. We've got access. There's an open water swim club.
How fucking cold is that right now?
I don't know. It's not bad, but
really,
yeah. I mean, as long as it's over like 50 degrees, you're cool. The coldest we've been in was like 45-degree water. That was cold. Yeah. We very interesting experience getting out of cold water. Just side note, it's just like cold water caloric thing that happens. That if you're in cold water, your inner ear gets a certain temperature, it gets to the level of the water, then you stand up and you get in air that's warmer, you go from perfectly fine to fall over drunk in like 5 seconds. Yeah, they actually, I talked to some of the doctors that I work with, and they're like, it's a test that they use on brain dead individuals, is they pour cold water in their ears, and if the eyes flutter, they're still technically alive.
I had no idea.
But we experienced it. We were training for a swim run race, and so it was in early April. So we were down at my mom's in Southern Ohio in March, and we jumped in the lake down there to get some cold water experience swimming. We got out of the water and just instantly fell over. Couldn't stand up for about 2-3 minutes. Raging headache. Was absolutely just miserable. And our first thought was, oh shit, we were like this close to being hypothermic in the water and just going down. So naturally, you don't stop, you just keep going, and then you jump back in the water and try it again. Same exact experience. Yeah. So
most people, that's not.
It's like they say, oh, let's go home, we're done. No, you okay? You shake the head, it went away. Let's try this again. Same thing happened. Son of a bitch, what's going on?
Right.
But find out that it is a known phenomenon. We weren't on the verge of hypothermia, but that was, I'm sure even without cold water, we were, flirting with that line. But a lot of it is just, you got to keep yourself moving.
Right.
As soon as you stop and feel sorry for yourself and start to feel and experience the cold, that's when you get yourself in trouble. So some of those, but it's a lot of learning experiences with that cold water. So this water here will probably be in the 60s, which is fine.
Yeah.
She's got a 5K open water swim race next weekend, so
she's big into it too.
Yeah, so she'll do she likes swimming a lot more than I do. I get through it.
I'm going to add it into my program a lot this summer. I'm not a cold guy, but
the swimming, I will say, like, you want to talk about something, you've been under the bar, and swimming feels good on the body.
Yeah.
My body likes it when I swim.
Yeah.
I understand why it's a lifelong sport and older adults, senior citizens swim, because it just feels good.
My plan is to get done with jiu-jitsu on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then do some activity in the pool afterwards.
Yep. It's been a struggle to learn, but it's been one that I've been very grateful for now embracing.
Yeah.
So
I'm psyched for it. We live in a condo complex. It's got a nice big pool, but we also have the lake out there. And you kind of take some chances when you swim in Lake Erie. I mean, it's an unforgiving place from time to time.
Yeah, it's got some good chop out there that can sneak up on you, and it's.
But growing up around here, I kind of know what it looks like and when it's safe to go out. When it is. I remember Erin, being from Iowa, came down here the first time, and she wanted to go out and swim in Lake Erie, and we just bought this condo, so we're going down there, and I'm looking at the sky, and I'm like, we're not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
We get down there, and the waves are just crashing, and she's like, well, let's go in. I'm like, no, this is different than the ocean. You see waves in the ocean, you see waves like this in Lake Erie, you might be fucked. So
because they come from all different directions. They're wind-driven waves, not swells.
Right. Yeah, we had Justin Albaugh in here a couple of weeks ago. He was actually a Lake Erie surfer.
Mm-hmm.
This crazy fucker goes out in a wetsuit in the middle of winter, and he's out there. Wow, that's crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
But there's a guy living his life too,
Yep, having fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you get out of here.
Awesome.
This has been
it's been
fantastic as
absolutely.
usual. We'll do it again. Let's tell people where they can follow you and stuff.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook are the two big ones. You can just search me for my name, Andrew Durniat. So
really cool Instagram page, with all the different exercises. I get inspired.
I'll put a lot of different stuff out there. Having fun with exercises, and then I'll map out certain adventures. Like I said, the month of June, every weekend in June is going to be a fun GPS track to watch them on.
I'm going to shoot you some text because I'm interested to see how you do.
It'll be fun. There'll be long adventures, long days of work.
How many days how long does it take to recover from one of these?
That is shortening. It's what used to take me weeks to recover now is happening in days.
Yeah.
My experience and the physiological response is shortening as my experience and my ability gets better.
Yeah.
So I'm with stacking these things on back-to-back weekends like that. That is in some ways on purpose for other goals that I have, completing multiple 100-mile events on back-to-back weekends.
I think I followed it off of your Instagram page to a running technique Instagram that I'm now following because, like you said, my biggest problem is not the cardiovascular problem when I'm running. Especially being 218, 220, it's a lot of pounding on your body, and I'm trying, and I know my technique is wrong. So I'm really, even when I walk now, I'm thinking about strides and how I'm kicking my foot out in front of me, and it's super important to figure that out before you go and wreck yourself. And
listen to your body, and that's where sometimes having a hard and fast written down running plan is the wrong way to go, because you're going to say, oh, I've got to run 3 miles today, and your body's not ready for that. So I look at hours, total hours between swimming, biking, running, using the elliptical, using the rowing machine, Airdyne. I mean, all of it is cardiovascular.
Right.
So don't overlook all of those. And then even using small little runs, 10-minute jogs.
Yeah.
can be effective to build up to that 10 minutes. What
Sled dragging.
sled
that kind of
dragging and stuff. So it was frequent short distances lead to big distances. Don't think, oh, if I can't do a 15-mile run, I can't do anything.
Right.
You know, I mean, I remember when a 5-mile run used to be my long run. Now it's my average run.
Yeah.
You know, and I was doing a lot of 1s, 2s, and 3s. And if I did a 5, it was like, whew, if I do a 5, I got to take the day off before, and I'm taking 2 days off after.
Right.
Because I can't handle much more than that. Well, I got to fill something else in those days.
Yeah.
So that's where the bike, the rower, spent a lot of time on the rower, just building that cardiovascular ability while my body adapted to repeated stress of running. And now it's still at that point, but now I can do a 25-mile run on trail,
Right.
recover in a day, and go out on shorter mile runs. You know, I did a 24-mile run one Saturday. The next Saturday I did a 50-mile run.
You're going to get me psyched to end up doing
And
one
so,
of these things.
and it's just, it's a build-up process, but that took me 4 to 5 years to get there.
Yeah.
I'm still looking to progress. Whereas, you know, I know guys, and that's the thing is, you know, I know a bunch of people now that all run 100 miles or more.
Yeah.
So when I go, oh, I've only done a 50-miler, I feel like the newbie, like,
Right.
I ain't done shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a runner. I've only ran 50 miles in a day. Like, these guys all run 100, or I now know people that have run 200 miles
Right.
at a time, and I'm like, man, I got to get my shit together. I just suck.
Yeah, I follow like David. You follow David
Dave
Goggins?
Goggins,
He's
yeah.
a fucking nut. Or
Yeah.
Cameron Haynes.
Yeah, I actually just talked with. I met.
Oh, he was at Summer
Yeah, he
Swap,
was.
right?
Yeah. So I hung out, talked with him a good bit. We had a good conversation on running last weekend. So.
Where's he from? North Carolina?
No, he's up in Utah.
Oh, okay.
He's out, or Idaho.
Okay.
Yep, he's out there. He's out west.
He's out there living with the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So he's a big game hunter. So
Yeah,
he
it's
loves it.
something that.
He was
you
a little
know.
dude. I was expecting, like, you know, it's like the legend is like, it's
Right.
like Cam Haines is coming here, so I'm expecting, you know, the 7-foot giant to
Right.
walk in the room.
Like
Shoot-
180 or
yeah,
something
shoot,
like
oh,
that?
not even. Yeah,
No.
yeah, soaking wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, you're built like a runner.
I saw like Tate Fletcher was there too.
yeah,
and
yeah,
He's an interesting
yeah,
dude.
he's definitely.
Did he speak?
Yeah, he was another one where it was just life was
Yeah.
coming out, and it was just like, man, yeah, dude, it's just I mean, rocking it now, but you know, it's most of the guys and gals talking, you know, it very, you know, we've all gone through shit at
Yeah.
times, and some people wear it on their sleeve and other people keep it inside,
Yeah.
and it comes out at brief moments, and it's just like,
Well, and I think that's what I like about doing this too, is I get guys in here like yourself or you know, even high level strongmen or whatever, and I don't really care about their sets and reps. Tell me your story.
yeah,
Tell me
what's-
how you
yeah,
got
what-
here.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, why is it, yeah.
And I think that's what people are interested. They don't want to hear sets
Yeah.
and reps anymore. You know.
Like I said, that's the easy part.
Yeah. Right.
Dealing with life shit. That's the part that you know, that's what hits you in the soul and goes, oh, okay, all right, yeah, this isn't easy. It's, you know, I'm allowed to struggle.
Right.
And just having that permission to be like, okay, no, shit can get real, and
Well-
or, man, I thought my shit was rough. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Like, because there's some people
was
out there.
Brandon Lilly down there?
Oh yeah.
So Brandon was another guy I had on the show, and look, when I went in and I had talked to Judd about having him on the show and everything, and I had so many people messaging me and talking shit before he
Yeah.
was on, and then afterwards talking shit about him, and I'm like, look, all I can do is talk to the guy who's right in front of me, and I sat there for 2 hours and talked to him,
Yeah.
and all I heard was a
Right.
guy who struggled through fucking life, and he's trying to change himself and make himself
And do
into
the
a
best
better
you
human.
can. Yeah.
So I mean, how are you
Yeah,
gonna talk shit
yeah.
about? You have no idea. I just spent 2 hours talking to the guy, and you have these.
Because we're really good at doing the armchair quarterback.
Right.
You know, I can sit here on my phone, and I can be Billy Badass.
Yep.
And then we wonder why we can't get people to show up to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, like.
And you can't ever
it
change.
does-
If you're the same, you
Yeah,
have to be the
dude.
same guy at 21 that you are at 40.
Yeah. See,
you know?
that's the thing. Allow yourself to evolve, man.
Yeah.
Like, make some decisions. Yeah. You know what, dude? I'm glad I'm not the same person I was when I was
Yeah,
a
I was
freaking
such an
teenager.
Ape when I was a 21
Yeah,
year
dude,
old.
I've done some dumb shit.
Yeah.
I've said some dumb shit. I'm glad Facebook didn't exist for a lot of years.
I tell you what, the
But-
best thing that
'cause-
ever happened is the Facebook memories, because you can go back
You go
and you're
back
10
and
years
it's
and you're like, oh my god, why did I
what
print
the heck
that?
was I thinking?
Yeah.
Like, I said some dumb stuff. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I like it when people go, you know what, I've changed my mind.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I've got new information to go on.
Right.
Like I'm not the
I was wrong.
I'm not the idiot. Like, yes, no, I said
was
that and
wrong
I was an
about
idiot.
so much
There was,
stuff.
Yes. Lots.
Yeah.
Lots. And yep, I said that. I'm an idiot. And I
Or you
now
were an
and I,
idiot.
and I,
Now
yeah,
you're-
now I feel like I hope to be a better person
Yeah.
for it, and now I'm just being happy and living life and rocking.
And at 50, you'll probably be even smarter.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah.
So that is truly the hope is sit there and just live and learn,
Absolutely.
live, learn, and keep grinding on.
Let's get you out of here so you can go do some fucking
do some
crazy ass swimming.
Yeah, go have some fun. It's all fun. That's what I tell people. It's like, it's fun, man. You just gotta, I what's the Jim Carrey movie where he just starts saying yes to everything? That's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I love it.
like, let's go do this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, yeah.
Well,
Sign me
you're
up.
going to inspire me. I'm gonna start looking at. We'll start with the 7 Mile Bridge run and go from there.
Yeah.
But
I say freaking, find out when that registration opens, sign up for
Exactly.
it, let it scare you, see what happens.
start training.
There you go.
Life shit with Andrew Durniat.
Awesome.
This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.